Yo, what's up, everyone? Back for this Wednesday slate. We got a 11-game slate for tonight. If you used the core for yesterday, I'm sure you crushed it. The core was absolutely on fire. First off, I want to say I appreciate all the love and support that you showed on yesterday's video. Got over 200 likes, almost 5,000 views. Just crazy numbers, but glad I was able to make a solid picks. Van Fleet, Lou Williams, Brandon Ingram, Pascal Davis, and Anunoby. Cashed on both DraftKings and FanDuel. Over 300 on both, 313 plus on DraftKings and 315 on FanDuel. Literally the two pivots that I went after the core were Gasol and Lonzo Ball. Probably the worst that you could have done out of that, but still take it. Want to know to start the year, so looking forward to today's big slate. As always, if you want to join us, get the full lineups, you can visit the website dfsprocess.net or links in description. So let's go. We got 11 games today. Like I said, if you do enjoy these videos, please be sure to drop a like on it. Let's try to get 150 likes like we did yesterday. But back to what I was saying, at point guard here, we have 11 games, lots of teams to pick players from. Luka is your highest priced guy here at 9,400. I don't mind him. It's going to be a high total. We're going to see P and Kristaps played quite a bit of games in the preseason. I think they played every game except for one, the first one. And they both looked to complement each other nicely. Both had solid games. I don't mind him at 9,400. If I'm going cheaper here, I like Kyrie Irving, 8,900 against this Timberwolves defense and against Jeff Teague defense. That's always something I want to attack. I'm probably not going to have that many Celtics players against the Sixers defense. It's just super lethal. They're at home. I think the Sixers defense is going to be one of the best in the league this season. They're going to make it so tough for teams to score. So I'm still going cheap at point guard here. For a value, I don't mind Terry Rozier at 7,300. He's going to take a ton of shots for the Hornets, and I think he can really mess around and get you 40 plus. I think he's going to put up big numbers for them, but they're not going to go anywhere as a team. But the guy that I like a lot is $5,600 for DeJounte Murray here. He just got rewarded with a 4-year, $64 million contract, which basically coming off of a torn ACL, he looked pretty solid in the preseason, and they rewarded him with that big contract. He is a starting point guard for the team. I just love the matchup here against this Knicks team. This Knicks team is full of young guys, lots of young guards. They're going to turn the ball over, and Murray is known for getting a lot of steals and being a great defensive player. So I think he can just absolutely lock up the point guard that he faces, whether it be Dennis Smith or whether he faces Elfrid Payton. He's just a really good defender, and he had some big preseason games shooting the basketball. As you see, 20 points in this one, 8 of 11. He had another really solid game, so he definitely has upside in the 30s and 40s. At 5,600, I think he makes for a great point per dollar play at home. Gotta like him at 56. At shooting guard, you have four guys at the top of the tier: Luka, Beal, Booker, Levine. Mitchell's fine too at 78. If you're a Mitchell fan. I think those 5 are all pretty solid plays. Probably won't have too much Jimmy Butler against this Memphis team. I think Butler is, at this stage of his career, he is still going to put up some points, but he's going to put up big scores, but it's not going to happen every single game. I think he's going to settle into like a 35 to 40 DraftKings point role, and at 76, I'm looking for guys that can get me 50 plus and close to 60. Don't mind DeMar DeRozan, 72. Buddy Hield is a little too expensive at 7K. He's a shooter, and he really needs to put up like 35 points for him to really crush value at that price tag. I like Brogdon at 65. Jamal Murray's pretty cheap at 63. You can go there. But I'm definitely going to pay up for one of these 5 guys, and I think the guy I like is Bradley Beal at 8,800. If you looked at the starting lineup, the Wizards already released their starting lineup for this game. They're going to be starting Ish Smith, Bradley Beal, Isaac Bonga, Ryu Hachimura, and the center Thomas Bryant. Now, none of those guys can really shoot the basketball. Ish Smith can, do something like get into lane, hit some mid-range jumpers. I expect Bradley Beal to take 20 to 25 shots every single game. He's just going to have to carry the entire load for this team offensively. And last season, his price tag was over 9K. It was creeping close to 10K. And right now we're getting a pretty good bargain at 8,800. This game total is pretty high. It's one of the higher ones on the slate. I gotta like Bradley Beal a lot at 8,800. Just a really, really good play. A small forward here. We'll see Ben Simmons is a little banged up. I think he's gonna be fine. 8,500 is not the worst idea to go to him. He always has that triple double upside. Don't mind going cheaper here. I don't know why. I like Gallinari, even though the matchup's tough. I think makes for a nice tournament play. Now that he's with the Thunder, he's a pretty solid point per minute guy, and I think the Jazz are going to play pretty fast this season, or a lot faster than before. So I don't mind him at 71. But going cheap here at some value I like at small forward is definitely think you can go Otto Porter at 58. You can go Kelly Oubre. I like him quite a bit at 56, starting for the Suns. He had a really good games when he was traded to the Suns last season. He had some big games, and he's going to be like the number 2 scoring option besides Devin Booker. Starting at small forward, I could see him log like 30 plus 32 to 34 minutes, and he's a good per minute guy at 5,600. Another guy that, just like Murray, is really cheap and can crush value. Robert Covington is another guy I want to mention just because this season he's going to be playing the power forward for the team, which means a lot more rebounding opportunities for him, and he had some huge rebounding games in the preseason. In just 28 minutes, he had a 19 rebound game, which was just ridiculous. And I think against this Brooklyn team, with their they have size at the center position, but the fours are going to be pretty small. And Covington, if he can get hot shooting the threes, can put up like 30 plus easily. And he's a good 3-point shooter as well. So I got to like Covington at 5,400. And then if we're looking for some value here, going bargain hunting, don't mind Jay Crowder is probably going to start here for the team. He's not a great player, but 46 is pretty cheap for anybody, especially him. Going even cheaper, you could look at like Trevor Ariza at 4,000. He's not the sexiest play, but that's definitely a cheap price. I think I'm probably going to be sticking in this like 5 to 6K range. If you want to go super punt, you could go with like Bonga because he's just going to have to play minutes on the team. But I think I'm going to go Kelly Oubre here at 56. Just this total this is one of the highest totals on the slate. Yeah, I expect it to be an absolute shootout. I expect both teams to go up and down the court. The Kings were one of the fastest paced teams last season. I expect the Suns to pick up the pace this year. With still young guys in Devin Booker and Oubre leading the show. Like Oubre at 56 quite a bit. At center here, Kristaps is up to 8,200 in his first regular season game. I think he's going to be fine all year. I think he's definitely in play at 82. But you're at that price tag, you need him to get you like 50 DraftKings points to get you about 6x value, which is what I look for. 6x value is if every one of your players gets you 6x, then you get 300, and 300 points is going to cash on most nights. So you can go there if you want. Big news is Blake Griffin is going to miss some time, and this Detroit Pistons team is already just a mess offensively. Without Griffin, Andre Drummond gets a massive bump here. And if Griffin is out and Morris is in, I think he makes for one of the better value plays on the slate at 3,600. If he's in, I think that'll be a really, really good play because he's going to get a lot of minutes filling in for Griffin. And at 3,600, he's so cheap. So that's a guy to look at for value potentially. And if he's out, then you can go to Christian Wood, who's probably going to start, and he had a really good preseason. So that's the Pistons situation at power forward. I think if you're looking here in the 6K range, I like Thomas Bryant just because he's gonna play minutes, and there's just no offensive players on the team. Him and Bradley Beal were decent last year in combination with each other, pick and rolls and stuff. At 66, he can get the job done. I like Sabonis, just got paid $6,900 now without Blake Griffin. The much easier matchup for him. He's a really, really good permanent guy, and he's going to be looking at 30 plus minutes this season as a member of the Pacers. So I like Sabonis. But the guy that sticks out to me a little bit is Al Horford, facing his former team at only $5,600. He's a tremendous permanent guy. He should play about like 30 plus minutes a night for the 76ers. And Brett Brown does a great job of rotating the minutes here. He puts Embiid out there for like the first 4 or 5 minutes. Then Embiid comes off and some other player comes off, and then Horford is still going to play center, probably when Embiid's out. And I think he's going to get, even though he's going to play next to Embiid, which is going to limit his overall ceiling, he still has a high floor because he's still going to play minutes. He's still very involved. He's a good passer. And he's going to get a lot of minutes just by himself at center when Embiid's resting, because they do like to, I expect them to rotate their minutes. 5,600 revenge game. Just like the price tag for him, I don't think it'll take much for him to make 6x value. So right now we got three 5,600 guys that I think are really good point per dollar plays: Murray, Oubre, and Horford. At center here, Towns, probably the top raw play of the day. 10-1 against this Brooklyn team. Now this Brooklyn team is definitely not the same as it was last season, because they do have DeAndre Jordan this year, and he's obviously a much better defender than Jarrett Allen was. But I still love Towns at 10-1. I'll probably go Towns, then Embiid, then Jokic. I think they're priced correctly, and that's the order I would play them in. But tough not to play Andre Drummond, I think, at 8,400. Now, without Blake Griffin, this definitely price tag was at 8,400 when Griffin was probably expected to play. They did not assume he was out, because when Griffin is out and Drummond is by himself at center, his price tag is over 9K. He's almost at 10K. He's just a monster per minute guy without Blake Griffin on the floor. And he should be looking at you can lock him in for a double-double. You can lock him in for probably a couple steals and blocks a game. He's a decent defender. And against this Pacers team, they do play big, so it's not like this game can never go small. The only thing that can hurt him is if he gets into foul trouble, or if this game just turns into a blowout, which it could. But I still like Drummond a lot at 84. Just tough not to like him at that price tag. And some other centers to consider is probably going to be LaMarcus Aldridge, 73. Nice price tag there. Already talked about Sabonis. Steven Adams. Steven Adams' matchup's tough, but he's cheap. I already talked about Bryant. I like Miles Turner if you want to double stack the center or go on the other side. 6,300 for Miles Turner is very, very cheap. And Dwight Powell's going to miss some time. It looks like we're probably going to get like Maxi Kleber going to get some more run. Paul Millsap is cheap, 49. Talked about Christian Wood. And Cody Zeller is cheap too. But definitely going to be going with Andre Drummond here. And then last but not least, last player I'll be giving out is the guard here. And I talked about how much I love this Suns game, this Suns-Kings game. I think it's going to be a shootout. We got another cheap guard here, 5,800 for Ricky Rubio. Now he's going to be taking over for the Suns. First season with the Suns after a bunch of years with the Jazz and the Timberwolves before that. Hopefully this can be the year that he can actually shoot the basketball. I don't think it will be, but they don't really need him to shoot when they have guys like Kelly Oubre and Devin Booker. They need him to just facilitate, get the ball to those guys. And I think he's going to easily rack up assists. I think this could be his highest assist rate, highest average assists per game in the last couple years. He should play solid minutes in the 30s. They don't really have any other point guard that they're confident in. Tyler Johnson got paid like $50 million, but after that he's really just not done anything. 5,800 for Rubio, who has, like I said, I'm looking for guys that can crush their ceiling. He can get me 8x return. Al Horford can get me 8x on a good day. Kelly Oubre can get me 8x. Murray can get me 8x, but 7 to 8x definitely. Looking for guys that can get you, not just looking for like 5x return. I'm looking for 6, 7, 8x. And those value guys can do it. And those two studs, Beal and Drummond, can both get me 6x plus. So that's what I'm liking for this slate. I will post any changes with injuries or as to do more research throughout the day in the comments below. You can follow me on Twitter to stay more up to date, and where I will tweet out some changes if there are any. But other than that, thanks for watching, and good luck.